Hello, you're now watching Talking Point TVRI World. So it is a very special segment today, as we have also a special guest today. He is a resident representative, Regional Hub Indonesia of Islamic Development Bank Group. He is Mr. Salah Jelassi. Welcome, Mr. Jelassi, to TVRI World. It is such an honor for us to have you here.
Thank you very much. The honor is mine.
Okay. Mr. Jelassi, as we know that Islamic Development Bank plays a very important role in the global economy. But before that, can you please give us a short brief related to what is actually the role of Islamic Development Bank in the global economy?
Well, I mean, the Islamic Development Bank was established back in the year 1974 as you know, a result from the decision taken from our leaders at the organization of Islamic Conference at that time. And since then, it has been, you know, this is our 49th year. Now the Islamic Development Bank has a membership of 57 member countries that are scattered along the four continents. We serve 25% of the world's population. The Islamic Development Bank has emerged into a group now. So basically the basic mandate is to promote development and then contribute to the development efforts in all its member countries. And we do that, you know, through Sharia compliant or the Islamic modes of finance, and according to the principles of Islamic finance. Of course, when I say the Islamic Development Bank Group, it is now the Islamic Development Bank, which focuses basically on sovereign lending, you know, and on contributing to development projects, sovereign development projects in different sectors, you know, including transport, energy, agriculture, health, education, etc. But at the same time, we have entities that are part of the Islamic Development Bank Group members. The first one is the Islamic Corporation for the Development of the Private Sector, ISDB, as well as the Islamic Trade Finance Corporation, which is a very important institution that focuses on financing trade, especially intra-trade between the ISDB member countries. And the last arm is the Islamic ICEC, which is the Islamic Corporation for Investment and Export Credit Insurance. And this is also a very important service and product that we are happy as the ISDB group to avail to our member countries.
Okay, Mr. Jelassi, we're moving to the G20. That is the summit is going to be held in Bali in the upcoming November. During Indonesia G20 presidency, ISDB also invited as one of the permanent member in a working group or in a some kind of meeting. Is there any topic or priority agendas that ISDB tries to bring in this year's G20 summit under Indonesia's presidency?
Yeah. First of all, we are grateful, of course, and honored to be involved, you know, in the Indonesian presidency. You know, and we are honored to be invited together with a few other multilateral development banks and international organizations to participate in the G20 Indonesian presidency. Apart from that, of course, it's important, you know, for the Islamic Development Bank Group to support, to avail its support to a member country like Indonesia, which is the largest member country, the biggest economy in our membership, and it's one of the three members of the Islamic Development Bank who are members of the G20. So Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, the host country where headquarters are, as well as Turkey. Okay. So apart from contributing and supporting, in any ways and means the Indonesian presidency, of course, as a multilateral development bank, and as the only South-South institution. We would really, the main purpose of the Islamic Development Bank, ensuring its active participation in the G20 presidency, is to voice the concerns of our membership, consisting of mainly developing as well as least developed countries, especially in Africa, channeling them through the Indonesian presidency to make that voice heard by the G20 community. And as a result of that, of course, we had back in June, we had our annual meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, where we had two main events, focusing on the Indonesian presidency. One that was attended, by Her Excellency Ibu Sri Mulyani Indrawati, the Minister of Finance of Indonesia, as well as His Excellency Pak Peri, the Governor of Bank Indonesia, that aimed at sensitizing our member countries of the issues that are being discussed under the G20 presidency, as well as it provided the G20 presidency to hear the voice of our remaining 57 member countries. The second event was, a round table discussion with Her Excellency Ibu Sri Mulyani, where the G20 really was the main issue. Of course, when we say the voice of the South, there are a lot of development issues, in terms of health, the health divide, the digital divide, the ongoing, in terms of climate change, green transition. All these are issues that are really very relevant and very important to all our membership.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so you've mentioned that those are actually the three pillars of a G20 presidency under Indonesia's presidency. So how ISDB takes or plays a role, taking a strategy in helping the member countries, your member countries, to achieve the, let's say, global health architecture, a health system that should be a balance between developed and also developing countries, and also the energy transition, shifting energy from brown energy to green energy, and also the transforming or digitalization, which is very important, as it is urged due to the pandemic. We should do some kind of activities. Let's say all kind of activities is now being digitalized.
Of course, you may be aware that there was, with the Islamic Development Bank, carried a strategic realignment, and then the pillars there are the focus on resilience, promoting resilience, and green growth. Okay, so when you say resilience, of course, that comes to you know, health and all the finance, all these issues, financial inclusion, etc., come to mind. And when you say, of course, green growth, we are referring basically to increasing the share of renewable and clean energy in the energy mix of our member countries, which is something that we believe could contribute to the global impact, you know, of the you know, of climate that is going on, the climate change. Now, when I say you know, let me go back to a very important you know, word, which is you know, captured under the motto of the Indonesian presidency, which is basically recover together, recover stronger. Okay. Let me come to the, okay, recover, we understand it, but how, why together? Okay, of course, the COVID has shown that, you know, it's not, no country can be safe on its own. Okay, and that's, you know, while the world was developing a vaccine, okay, this thing, you know, so nobody is safe under everybody is safe. Okay, and that's the lesson we have learned from the COVID crisis. Two, I mean, financial crises, okay, have an impact, a global impact, whether they, you know, they are caused by the action of one country or a group of countries. However, the impact, the spillover effect is always global. Okay? You know, the climate, when we talk about climate, okay? So could we, you know, could a country itself on its own really protect the environment and protect itself from the repercussions of climate change? That's not right. So the togetherness, or the principle of working together to address the challenge the challenges facing the world is an important concept, an important philosophy that we are grateful, in fact, as in the development community, for the fact that Indonesian presidency has successfully highlighted it in the very motto of the presidency of the summit itself.
Okay, so it is, let's say, can we say that it is a word that should be put on this year's summit?
Definitely. I mean, especially this year's summit. When you talk about this year's summit, as I said, you know, you have what we call the 3 C's, or you know, the COVID, the climate, and the conflict, or referring to the geopolitical conflict between Russia and Ukraine. You know, when the togetherness is important here. I mean, the impact, when you see of course, it's dramatic, it's tragic to see the impact on all sides. You know, but at the same time, when you see the impact, you know, that has led to the increase in food prices, shortages, you know, what we call the food crisis, as well as, you know, the increase in energy prices. You know, those are all challenges that are impacting, okay, the whole world. So it is basically, the together is even more important, you know, as a result of the adding the 3rd C to the equation over here.
Let's move to the first C first, the COVID. Indonesia and also several countries try to develop a financial intermediary fund to improve the pandemic preparedness response, or PPR, as Ibu Sri Mulyani mentioned several times. So does ISDB also takes part on that? And what do you think, why this FIF, the Financial Intermediary Fund, is very important to be developed in facing future pandemic?
Well, I mean, that's one of the lessons. It's a straightforward. It's one of the lessons that we have learned is to have the necessary funds available for immediate, deployment when a crisis hits, God forbids, of course. Of course, this is an effort that is being led by the World Health Organization, and I believe that all multilaterals, including the Islamic Development Bank, are cooperating, to support this effort, and it's part of it's an important mechanism that could be tapped on, in future health crises.
Health crisis. Yeah. So, is there any fund that that ISDB have been prepared for that?
In terms of the of multilaterals, it's basically the contributions of member countries. Okay. Those are the pledges. But multilaterals will complement that with their own programs. First of all, they will contribute to the structuring of the fund, to its inception and establishment, as well as complement it with packages of their own. When you come to all the multilaterals, including the Islamic Development Bank, on the wake of the COVID crisis, we had what we called the Special Response Program, SPRP, and that was for deployed immediately within weeks after the COVID hit. Recently, the bank has reacted or responded, in fact, to the food crisis by establishing what we call the Food Security Response Program, SRP, in the amount of 10.54 billion US dollars. Okay? So those are the immediate responses, that not only the Islamic Development Bank has done, but also there are similar programs that were launched by the other multilateral development banks.
Okay, so I am interested with that program, Food Security Program. So can you please explain to us what actual strategies that would the Food Security Program do to tackle the food crisis issue?
Of course, I mean it's a complex question, but it's a very broad scope, and be happy to provide you later with the complete details. But of course, a food security response, okay, it is basically there are shortages in the global supply chains.
Yeah.
Okay? There is an increase in prices, so there is a matching problem of finance, okay, of trade finance, buying commodities, etc. And food items. Third, okay, the impact of this would even threaten the livelihood, of the fragile segments in our society. So supporting, employment and maintaining livelihoods and sustaining livelihood and jobs is also an important impact on that. So it's a very complex, program and a very complex issues. But I hope that collectively, all we could tackle it all together.
So then we move to the other C, the conflict itself, Mr. Jelassi. So are you concerned that the geopolitical tension may overshadow the G20 objectives?
Well, hopefully not. At least from a development perspective, I think the world has already a lot of issues that need to be addressed at the highest level, and especially at a forum like the G20. The G20 wasn't established, by accident. It was established in responding to the recurring financial crises. So it was felt that the G20 economies, which represent around 80 or more than 80%, 85% of the world GDP, 70% of the volume of trade, 2/3 or 75%, if I recall right, in terms of population. These are important. This is an important forum that could help in ensuring a collective response to the urgent challenges facing the world. But let me, I'm not being, diplomatic, but I'm also, let me say that I'm optimistic, at least. I feel, first of all, that, the world is lucky of having the G20 presidency with Indonesia at this very important, juncture. I think it's Indonesia is working very hard. It has a very able and hardworking and perseverant leadership, as well as its moderate and neutral position and wisdom that the Indonesian, policy is renowned for. I think it's we are blessed with having, or the world, the G20 is blessed of having the G20 presidency in Indonesia this year, which would ensure, hopefully, higher chances of achieving a consensus and issuing a much needed, declaration at this juncture.
I think that's all countries hope, the global hope. I think we are all hoping that G20 summit in Bali in the upcoming November will come up with solutions to these challenges, these global challenges. So will you attend the summit in Bali?
Definitely, inshallah.
Okay, so I'll see you in Bali later, Mr. Jelassi. Thank you so much.
Thank you
For your time, and also share to us your perspective related to the G20 presidency under Indonesia presidency, and also the role of Islamic Development Bank. Thank you so much, Mr. Jelassi.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was all our interview with Mr. Salah Jelassi, the resident representative regional hub Indonesia of Islamic Development Bank Group. That was all a Talking Point TVRI World. So stay tuned on TVRI World.